nominate Honorable Tajuddin Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
A warm welcome to House Tickets, your window into the activities of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Dihelia Mamza and I'm your guide. We shall continue the review of House activities in the first quarter of the year 2024, focusing on bills at different stages of legislation. We also had a chat with lawmaker Usman Murtala Banye, where he discussed pertinent issues, which we will share with you on the program. Please stay with us.
Hi, about that The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Thanks for staying tuned. As earlier mentioned, we'll review some of the bills at different stages of legislation by the House for the first quarter of the year 2024 before the recess. In other words, our review will focus on bills entertained by the House of Representatives between January to March 2024. Let's take this review and find out the various stages where the bills are. Keep watching House Tickets.
Within the first quarter of 2024, over 100 bills were introduced for first reading, while several others were debated at second reading. One of such bills debated at second reading emanated from the Senate. The bill seeks to amend the Cybercrimes Prohibition and Prevention Act 2015 and for related matters. The House Leader, Representative Julius Ihonvere, presented the bill on the floor of the House, after which it was referred to the Committee of the Whole House for further legislative action.
I rise this morning to move.
Another bill that was passed at second reading was one sponsored by Representative Francis Ejirogene-Waive. It seeks to amend the Electoral Act 2022 and for related matters.
The Electoral Act 2022 was enacted by the 9th Assembly painstakingly with a view of making our elections more credible, more credible, such that the results that come from it will be more acceptable. However, after the elections and everything we have gone through, we find that there is a need for an amendment to the Electoral Act 2022 to address some of the challenges that we faced during the election, to correct some obvious defects in the Act, and to get us better prepared for coming elections.
We witnessed in the last election that many people that were elected in numbers had the election reversed because of technicalities in our court. Therefore, it is imperative that we do everything possible to ensure that the Electoral Act is in tune with the reality of the day and help us to elect effectively and in line with our constitution.
Mr. Speaker, I'm of the opinion that we should not punish a voter for the fault of INEC. It will be very harsh to tell a voter because his accreditation machine did not work, he is being disenfranchised from casting his vote. We should truly dig in to find a way to make sure that a voter who comes out to vote with his voter's card that is on the voters register is allowed to vote. But all the other items on this paper, I'm in full support. But I feel this one, we should find a way of not furnishing the voter for the fault of INEC. And if we allow it like this, it will be used against many people.
The bill was read the second time and referred to the relevant committee of the House for further scrutiny. Tuesday, 13th February 2024, the House debated a bill at second reading seeking to amend the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015 to increase the penalty for the offense of female genital mutilation under the Act. Sponsored by lawmaker Kafilat Ogbara, the lawmakers said the bill seeks to abolish the inhumane act of female genital mutilation as it is unpopular worldwide with adverse psychological effects on its victims.
Female genital mutilation is a bad act. It is an act that affects our girls and our women. It affects them physically and psychologically. It causes a lot of complications. And from research, we already know that it does not have any medical advantage. Rather, it only complicates their lives mentally and otherwise. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, from statistics, we are aware that over 200 million women and girls have been victims of female genital mutilation. And Nigeria, as a nation, has a very high prevalence of close to 20 million girls and women. This violates their human rights and, of course, their dignity as well.
Those in support of this bill say aye.
The bill was voted on, approved, and referred to the House Committee on Women Affairs.
The ayes have it.
Still on bills debated at second reading, on Tuesday, 20th February 2024, the House debated a bill for an act to establish National Polytechnic Commission to supervise, regulate, and coordinate polytechnics and for related matters. When established, the Commission will regulate tertiary education in polytechnics nationally, which is in line with the legislative agenda of the House. The bill was sponsored by lawmaker Igariwe Idumaenwo.
The MBTE, which is the Nigerian Basic Technical Education, which currently supervises polytechnics in this country, actually supervises over 600 other institutions, including vocational and sub-tertiary education. So you can say that polytechnics are the only higher institution in this mixture. Therefore, the need for a dedicated commission for polytechnics is rooted in the goal to properly regulate polytechnics in the direction of providing skilled technical and technological manpower to serve the needs of Nigeria, as the current capacity of the staff in MBTE is overwhelmed by the sheer number of institutions being covered by the MBTE. Mr. Speaker, the establishment of the Commission will also serve to dismantle one of the core indices of discrimination against polytechnic certificate holders, since others have their dedicated commissions, including basic and even nomadic education.
I think we can amend either the National Board for Technical Education or the University Commission Act to make provisions for proper regulations of the Polytechnic. The Polytechnic is presently being regulated now because there's an agency that recognizes their establishment every time. I don't think it's right each time we have problems, we keep creating commissions and agencies. In education alone, we have State Fund, we have UBEC, we have all sorts of agencies we have created, but still the level of education in this country is low, including the funding.
One of the reasons for the dichotomy that we have, that is creating a lot of ripples in our system today, is also because we do not have a commission that looks basically at the polytechnic education. So, Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, I think this is right. This is very just. This will give us the opportunity to realize all the effort and all the investment that is being put into polytechnic education, and it will give us the kind of result that we want.
The bill was referred to the House Committee on Federal Polytechnics and Higher Education. The House also considered a bill for an act to alter paragraph 2 of section 231 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, to provide a time frame for appointment of justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and for related matters.
Justice Olukoya Ariwole once said that the exit of one justice meant an additional workload on the remaining justices. and one time Justice Amina, when she retired in 2023, having reached the mandatory age of 70, the number of justices at the Supreme Court reduced to 11, as against the prescribed 21 justices for the full complement of the court. Thus, I think there is an urgent need to alter this section that will appoint the justices of the Supreme Court. If this bill is being read the second time and passed by the House, a time frame will be attached to the appointment of Supreme Court justices in Nigeria where vacancies occur, with a view of preventing vacuum that ensuring speedy delivery of cases before the apex court.
The bill was referred to the Special Committee of the House on Constitution Review. Moving on to bills read a third time, the House read a number of bills for the third time after considering the reports of committees that worked on them. The bills include a bill for an act to repeal the National Library Act Cap N56, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the National Library Bill 2024 to establish and maintain the National Library of Nigeria, strengthen its statutory functions, and for related matters. A bill for an act to provide for coordinating and conduct of the practice of broadcasting profession in Nigeria and for related matters. A bill for an act to prescribe the salaries, allowances, and fringe benefits of judicial office holders in Nigeria and for related matters, as well as a bill for an act to repeal the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Act 2023 and enact the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Bill 2024 to establish the Nigerian Education Loan Fund as a body corporate to receive, manage, and invest funds to provide loans to Nigerians for higher education, vocational training, and skill acquisition, and for related matters, which was passed by the House on Tuesday, 19th March 2024.
The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Many thanks for staying tuned to the program House Ticket as we bring you up to speed on the activities of our elected representatives in the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. We just reviewed some of the bills at different stages of legislation by the House for the first quarter of the year 2024 before the recess. Like I stated earlier, House Ticket had a chat with lawmaker Usman Murtala Banye, Deputy Chairman House Committee on Works, as he spoke on a wide range of issues. For a start, Representative Banye reveals more about his committee.
This committee is saddled with that responsibility to make sure that each and every kobo appropriated for Ministry of Works is well scrutinized, is made to talk on why was it fixed at a particular project. So this is the major responsibility of our committee and is one of the statutory committees of this House. Each and every state has its own representation. We have a constituted members of about 40, which make it, at least balance. And every member is well active on seeing what share his state is due within the national infrastructural development.
The lawmaker spoke on the challenges being faced so far in the works sector.
Engineer Umahi is a visionary engineer, and he came up with a brilliant idea, which we think, if Nigerian budget can afford it, it might change the narration on Nigerian roads, which is concrete roads. I believe this is the first challenge we face from the contractors, from the legislators. There are so many petitions that contracts were awarded based on flexible pavings, and now it's been changed, it's been planned to change rigid pavement. So we face that, we have to discuss with him in private, to the extent that we organize a public hearing for all those manufacturers and, material providers for both rigid pavement and flexible pavement. So this is the first challenge we face. And in a country like Nigeria, and with the current inflation we're facing, if at all there should be a project that is really needed for economic development, is road infrastructure, because we have a very low connectivity with our rural areas, with our towns, with our, even the stage of the existing roads are in a bad shape.
Speaking on the way forward, Representative Usman had this to say.
The Ministry of Works, so to say, is a huge taxing and challenging ministry. But we are doing our best. We are handling it with care. We are handling it with aggression that we need to deliver all the deliverable to this country, under the able leadership of my chairman, Honorable Akin Alabi.
Representative Banye also told us what Nigerians should expect from the House Committee on Works.
Nigerians should expect transparency. We are doing our best. My chairman happens to be from West, that is Southwest. But as soon as we did our inaugural meeting, we came up with our working plan of oversight, and we came up with proposal. And I made him understand that the need and how critical is Abuja, Kaduna, Kano Road is to the northern part of this country. And he took it personal. He said this road must be completed within a reasonable time. I think this is the first road we went for oversight. We discussed with the contractors, with Julius Berger, though is being funded by Sovereign Fund. Then later we move on to this Kogi Road. So there are so many plans on how to make sure that between supplementary budgets and the appropriation of 2024, we scrutinize all the line items, all the projects specified and proposed within that budget. So Nigerians should expect nothing but aggressive supervision, oversight of all the projects under that ministry.
Representative Usman also assured Nigerians that the 10th House is doing its best to reduce the current economic hardship being faced in the country.
We have invited head of economic sector of this country. We have invited CBN governor, FRS chairman, finance minister, budget and planning minister. We bring them to the chamber. We discuss why this, why that. They have explained to us. We have asked them about their mid-term, short-term, and long-term plans. They have explained, and we have asked them questions, and we have given them our thoughts and direction. And believe me, they have started implementing what they have told us, what they have presented to us. But we did not stop at that. This week, we invited food security with this thing. We invited Minister of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, and what have you. They came. We have a long session with them. We asked them. They explained to us. We had so many discussions with them, and I'm confident that these people, considering what they said, I believe there will be a very good light at the end of the tunnel.
The lawmaker has a message for the ruling class as well as other Nigerians.
I want to plead with them that this is the hard time. Actually, Nigerians are suffering. We must wake up and put all our hand on decks to make sure that everybody contributed immensely with what he can do within his own territory to at least shock and caution this hard effect that our people, Nigerians, are facing. Secondly, to the general public, I still give them hope that with the plans on ground, especially in terms of revitalization in agricultural sector, we have high hope that this country will be back on track, and we should bear it in mind that everybody has his own way on contributing toward the development of this nation.
Representative Wenye is a first-time lawmaker in the House. He tells us of his experience so far.
Actually, the experience is far beyond what I'm expecting. I'm expecting, a less pressure, activity that maybe you come 2-3 days sitting, then you go and do your own other this thing. But the work of legislator is a full-time job. It's a full-time job, day and night, 24/7. Because if you are not in, session, you will be in committee activity or oversight. So from one place to another is day-by-day job. So it's quite challenging, but, we are trying to be fast learners, and we are learning. We have ranking members that are more accommodating. They are trying their best to see that they have co-opted us in showing us a good way on, learning, under the able leadership of our Speaker, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas. He's doing his best to see that he has carried everybody along. He constituted a committee with humble chairman that majority of them carries everybody, all their members along. So, the learning, quite sure, is a hard learning, but, the ranking members are doing their best to see that they have softened it to make it more and more simpler and easier for us.
That was lawmaker Usman Murtala Benye. He represents the good people of Batagarawa, Charanchi, Rimi Federal Constituency of Katsina State under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. This is the much we can take for this package of House Ticket. We shall continue to bring you events within and outside the legislature as they unfold. Many thanks for watching, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. See you next week.